Great. Let's move into the second section where we're going to start K3D. We're going to create our cluster. That's what we're after. Okay, back to our terminal. Right, back to our terminal. I'm going to maximize my terminal. And what we want to do is make sure that K3D is present. Right, actually, it is present. We can do K3D help. I know because I added it in these VMs. By the way, it's present for all VMs, right? Not just mine. All right, so here's the documentation, k3d.io. Okay, managing clusters. It's the cluster command. You want to find additional details. You can say k3d cluster, I believe -h. Yep. So here's it's going to give you all the additional information, -h or -help. Pretty standard command line interface, especially if you're familiar with Docker or other types of tools that have a complicated CLI. Very similar to that. So you can create a cluster, you can delete a cluster, you can stop a cluster from running, right? So I'm going to tell you right now that if you mess up um, somewhere in between the class and you would like to start from the beginning, the best way to do it, you delete the cluster, right? You're going to go ahead and delete the cluster. It's the same command to start the cluster, and it's the same command to actually delete the cluster. It's the best way to start from scratch. Okay, so you do not need a new set of VMs. You don't need anything of the sort. Just go ahead, K3D, cluster, delete, and you're good to go. Okay. Um, Now, the create command, right? The create command can take configuration files, right? Can take configuration files. So uh, if I do a cat -n to get the line numbers, it's under my current folder, ns302. These are our student files, by the way, extracted, config.yaml. Here's the configuration. Okay, here's the configuration. This configuration tells me that the cluster name will be called training, and that the ports I like to open so that I'm able to ingress traffic into my cluster is port 80 and 443. Okay, and this should be very reminiscent to the way you open ports from a Docker container to the outside world and so on. Okay, so port 80, port 443, and they're both set as a load balancer. Again, we're not going to set up a load balancer per se for our end, okay, because it's not needed to. It's going to add complexity, unnecessary complexity for what we would like to achieve. Okay, but this is it. This is it. And if you go to K3D, in all honesty, if you go to K3D, where is it? K3D.io. If I can grab my browser, right here it is. You go under guides, right? You're going to find tons of information in here with respect to what all the different options are, what is the different configuration files look like, and this way you're going to have an easier time. Oh, I have a link actually inside your manual, and here it is. Right, it's going to explain to you how you can use configuration files. It's actually the very first option, right? So very first option, using config files, and the different commands, of course. Again, you may want to use K3D for your own type of development too. That's why I'm expanding on it. Okay, back to the terminal very quickly. Here we go. So let's start our cluster. Let's create our cluster. So you create the cluster by typing K3D cluster create -c for configuration, home folder, ns302, whatever, install, files, config. That's it. And we press enter. The cluster will be created within a few seconds. Okay. Again, you're given some logs, right? That we're mapping 80 to 80, 443 to 443, and so on. we're starting our training cluster, and here you go. I don't know. Took 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I don't think it took longer than that. Okay. But your cluster is created, and what you can do, this is what you're after, by the way. Cluster training created successfully. Right. You see errors, all the logs were informational. We're good to go. Your kubectl now, the kubectl command, which is already present, kubectl, kube controller, kubectl, should be now configured to access your cluster, right? To access your cluster. So I can say kubectl get all all namespaces, and if I do this, I'm going to be within a few seconds. It's the very first time, lazy loading and all that good stuff, that kubectl is going to take time, primarily because of Docker, not kubectl. Okay. Subsequent kubectl commands will execute a lot faster. Okay, but right now you get to see all the different namespaces. There's the default, there's the kube system, right, and all the different components. Okay, all the different components, right? So this is it. This is your cluster, right? From the different pods, and you can see pod, service, daemon sets, deployment apps, deployments, replica sets, jobs, right? Jobs, and so on. So you can get an understanding of what takes place. Okay. We will see more commands like kubectl, logs, and so on, so we can get an understanding of how we can start debugging and describe. There's more commands like that that we're going to get to see in the near future. Okay, not yet. Alrighty. With this, we actually have concluded. If I can get back to there we go. We have concluded the second section of the exercise. Talk to you in the next.